Hey, what you guys doing over here? Can I join? There's no girls allowed in here. Yeah, girls are icky and stinky and dumb. Yeah, you tell Don't say I didn't warn you. Dragon Slave! Now, if you thought I waited a long time for the last anime figure, this one I've been waiting for my entire life. Now, before this, Lina Inverse has had garage kits, and she's had, the Nendoroid that came out recently that I do own. And by recently, I mean like 3-4 years ago at this point, I think. But when that Nendoroid came out, I said this might open the way for scale figures. And here she is. The best girl in all of anime, right here. Lina Inverse. Now, I will say I'm a bit disappointed that it wasn't, her in her actual fighter outfit and or doing anything cool like her Dragon Slave move. I'm just happy we got anything, and that it's a really cute rendition of her. Like, usually she's the big, bad, tough, cool, funny, but now we have her doing something cute, which it doesn't betray her because she does, want to be seen as more feminine and, is cute in the first place. But we got what we got, and I really like it. So let's start opening this bad boy up. The box, very unimpressive, just right off the bat. It's Hanagoromo version. So, no, Hanagoromo was her. That was my Mako. We have Kimono version, Lina Inverse here. New Year's Lina Inverse to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Tsudeya's, which is one of my favorite anime of all time, except for the latest series, which was Evolution R, where it introduced that mascot character. He sucks. That series is not nearly as good as the rest of the show ever was. And I definitely don't mind the fact that there are 2 different voice actors in the dub for Lina Inverse, one for the OVAs and one for the actual television show, because they're both very good in their own right. And, well, that's not what we're talking about right now. But anyway, box, unimpressive. The front, you get to see a window into the figure, and that's all you really need. Side, nothing really there. The back is a silhouette, which I think kind of sucks, and then the top is a cute little flower. It's a sakura blossom. Box, no points for the box. Not very impressive at all. Doesn't show off her personality in any way, shape, or form. But we're not here for the box. We are not here for the box. We are here for what's inside the box. And I will say right off the bat, it looks like there's going to be incredibly little assembly required. So that I'm happy for. A lot of scale figures nowadays have a lot of, little accessories that you have to attach and do this and do that and whatever else. But this one, oh, she's a big girl. She's 1/7 scale too. But this one, it looks like all you're going to have to do is plop her right on the stand and be happy. Ooh, the stand is cute too. I like it. 2 small metal pegs for her foot. Kind of similar to the Mako that we already have. And that's all the assembly. Just 2 little pegs for her feet. And bam! We have Oh, the lighting is really shitty right now. But bam, we have New Year's Lina Inverse. And what a cutie is she. So, as per usual, oh my god, the patterns on her kimono. Oh my god. Okay, so anyway, we will go from the tip of her hair to the bottom of her feet, and although this is a relatively simplistic figure, there is a lot of detail, like, oh my god. So first we'll start with the curl on her head, her little ponytail, and that is really cute. The paint, really well done, and like I say for a lot of these other figures, the hair is not going to be too super impressive. You're just looking at, different shades of color. Does the hair match up well against itself? The ponytail does look like, or the bun rather, looks like it's, tied neatly on top of her head, and, not too much else going on there. And it looks like it's sitting on top of her head because it is. Like, usually I complain if it looks like it was just glued on, or if there was it was obviously a peg insert. But this time, because it's a big poof of hair on the top of her head, it looks pretty natural. Now, as we get into the front of her hair, we're going to skip the giant thing in her hair for now. The front of her hair, it has the iconic M shape that is, her old 90s hairstyle. It has a lot of dark parts in this orange hair. I'm not sure if that's an error or not, but her hair is really dark in the front when it's supposed to be like a bright, fiery, blazing red. Not too big of a complaint about that. It does get brighter around the tips, and there are a lot of nice, cute curls that really complement and frame her face, which we'll get into her face in just a minute. And then, of course, in between the M shape, we have the ahoge, the three of them coming up. And, I mean, they look as good as they can be. These obviously look like they were glued on, which, again, because it's an ahoge, it's a little understandable because they are supposed to be cowlicks. They're supposed to be hairs coming out of the top of the head. So, a little forgivable there. Now, as we get into this really beautiful, complicated hair tie, flower, accessory, rings, anal beads, things coming off of her head, just wow. It's blowing me away right now. The detail on it is incredible. The little spiky things, like, those look good. I don't see any scuffs or painting errors anywhere on this little star on the top. The lotus right here, like, these flowers look amazing. Like, oh my god. And that's not even, we're not even into the rest of her outfit yet, but holy crap. This giant accessory in her hair is beautiful. Like, there is a lot of small parts, so it does look like there are some scuffs, a little bit of artifacting there, but, give and take. It just looks fantastic. And even if you come to the back where we get a full view of the three rings, like, they look like they're glued onto each other, which is probably the point of them. But they look magnificently well done. Like, it's very simple in its execution, probably, but they look great all combined. And then we have the three little strings of beads coming off of the back of the flower, too. And it's intertwined in these rings, which I really like because, it gives a little bit more depth to this accessory. It's just really, really nice. Like, it all looks really well put together. Aside from the obvious, like, it looks like it's glued together, just each of the rings, bam, bam, bam. But other than that, we're going to be looking at it from the front, and from the front, like, it just looks great, honestly. And I will take a second here to talk about kind of the angle of display, because if we look at it from the front, it does kind of hide most of the accessory. But if we look at it from a slight angle, like, because we can see Lina's eye is coming towards, her right, our left, because I'm looking straight at it. So if we angle her very slightly that way, so it looks like she's, looking through her hair at us, it does kind of block her eye, but we get a more full view of her outfit, which it looks like she's trying to show off. And, well, I'll get to that when we get there. But let's move down into that face that I was just talking about, because if you look at it dead on, she's clearly winking, looking to the side. She has a really cheeky smile. You can see her fangs. She's very clearly showing off, like, hee, look at this. Aren't I beautiful? Aren't I cute? Aren't I pretty? And I could totally see her saying that in my head. And then Gary goes, you look like a kid. And then she gets like, 90s anime violence. Yeah, it's funny. One of the best shows ever made. Her smile looks really well done, honestly, because usually when smiles are made on anime figures, they're usually either just lip smiles or when they have their mouths open, it's like they push out the tongue forward so they don't have to like add any depth to the mouth. Here it's just a big toothy grin and it looks really good. Her eye stickers, now that I'm looking at it, her right eye looks a little low, but if you look at, the line of, her cheekbones and this is just anime 90s style right here. So it looks like, with this one eye closed, if you stare at it for too long, it looks like it's too far down, but it's actually in line with the two lower eyelashes because when you close your eyes, you don't bring the bottom eyelash up, you bring the top eyelash down. And so, or eyelid rather. So that's, anatomically correct, but it looks a little off because it looks like her eye is just way too low on her body. But again, that just comes from that classic anime style where the eyes were that big. So it's just the style. Some people might not like it, and now that I've pointed it out, I'm probably not going to be able to unsee it, but I don't think it takes away from the figure because it's it's classic meeting modern, and some of these things are not going to mesh completely, you know what I mean? So this is one of those small situations where it doesn't mesh completely and where it does look a little unnatural that her eye looks so low on the face. But then again, like the cheekbones right here, you can see the blush. It's in line with the nose, so it's anatomically correct. It just doesn't look correct, is what I'm trying to get at. Going down into her neck and chest, not too much there. How can you really mess that up? And yeah, I guess we'll just gloss over that because there's no big issues there. Coming into the dress, though, the kimono, this is beautiful from every single angle. The pattern, the waist line band thing, the giant bow on the back. Everything about this is incredible. Like, I see the pictures and it looks great, but now I'm, looking at it in person and this looks incredible. It looks amazing. I love this. So we'll take it, from we'll go to her right arm first. You have this giant sleeve billowing down, and like I said, she's very obviously turned to the side, winking, showing it off, and she's pulling it out. You can see the little fabric is coming up into her fingers here, and you can even see she has a little bit of nail polish on because she's a cutesy girly girl and not always tomboyish, and she's adorable, and I love her. She's showing off the kimono, she's showing off the pattern, she's showing off the little thing on her waistline, that little talisman looking thing, but we'll get to that when we get to that. The pattern of the flowers, like, I'm not sure how they do this sculpting, and I should probably eventually look it up, but it looks amazing. Like, they probably just plastered it on. Like, this is definitely not hand painted. It has to be some sort of like sticker, vinyl, whatever thing, because like I'm running my finger over it and there is a bit of a like, you can tell that it's a separate layer. So whether it's stickered on with like some special glue or whether it's actually hand painted on, I don't know, but it looks fantastic. Like, it just looks amazing. Coming into her left arm now, because I want to take a look at that little handbag she's holding. Even the handbag looks great. Like, it has the straps wrapped around her hand. She has, fingernail polish on those fingernails as well. The little beads at the end of the straps, one's blue, one's green, they both look adorable. They look, it looks, well meshed on. I don't see any artifacting, no paint errors anywhere so far. And then coming into the bag, it looks like it's going into the bag. So this is one time where it is forgivable that it looks like it's just a peg into it, because that's literally what's happening there. It's a strap going into the bag so you can close it. And her little handbag, very cute pattern. The bottom of it is a different fabric because, if you put it down on the ground, you don't want to ruin it, that type of thing. Looks very nice. Looks very cute. A nice little accessory that complements her look. Her other sleeve, it's the same as the other one. It's billowing back towards her because maybe there's a slight breeze. It all just looks really well done. And it's weird because I feel like there's a lot to talk about, but there really isn't, because it's just big billowing sleeve with a pattern. Looks nice. Don't see any errors. Another big billowing sleeve with a beautiful pattern. Looks nice. Don't see any errors. Like, there are no paint errors. There are no scuff errors. Even at the seams, there's very little to talk about, even at the seams too, because one pattern ends at the seam and then the other begins at the seam, because that's how the fabric works. That's how fabric works. So it looks really good. So let's move back into the body. We'll talk about, I think it's called an obi, the thing that wraps around her chest. It has this Star of David with an eye in the middle pattern on that. I don't remember what kind of reference that might be to the show. Might be some Shabernigdo type shit. And then we have a little talisman on her waistline that, yeah, again, she's probably trying to show off. Again, if you look at it at the right angle, because she's looking that way. And this picture that I'm showing right now is probably the angle we're supposed to be looking at her at. And we get full view right in the middle of this little talisman. And if we take a really close look at it, again, I don't really see any painting errors except for a little bit at the top. There's a bit of blue bleeding in onto the red there. And then the yellow straps that attach to the blue, I don't really see any issues there. So, a little bit of an error, but a little forgivable because it is such a tiny thing. And we'll follow the obi to the back where we have this giant, beautiful bow. And much like the Reimu bow, these are not separate layers. This seems to be one big chunk. Whether or not they were glued together afterwards, I think that's probably what happened here, because you can see the pattern continues on the underside of some of these things. On the left side, at the very least, we have this outer layer and then the layer closer to her body. The pattern continues as it wraps around, so that might have been glued on later, but on the right here, the bow is a little more sloppily done, and the pattern just seems to continue. Like, there's the bump here, and then, like, where these two hexagons meet each other, that's kind of what's going on there. But then you continue down that where it meets the other part of the ribbon, and those are two distinct entities again. So a lot of detail here, a lot of really good detail here. We'll move down into the lower skirt, and it's similar to the sleeves. There's not too much to talk about here, aside from the pattern looks very well done. The fabric, it's a little flexible at the bottom, like you can kind of open it up a bit and you can see inside where it's just plain pink. I don't think that's too much of an issue because, they do open up at the bottom. They're kind of supposed to do that. And as we wrap around, she's got a big booty and no pattern on her butt, but the flowers, all of the paint looks just really nice. Yeah, the pattern on the back, we can see there's that line down her butt and down the middle. And again, that's where the patterns will change because, that's where the fabric stops and begins again. And down this line, we can kind of see that the print is a little bit off, like barely a tenth of a millimeter off of that line. But that's still there. It's still a little notable. Not perfect, but then again, who can be perfect? And again, it looks like there's a lot to talk about, but there really isn't because the figure is just really simple in execution. Now we get the next stage is going to be down to the feet here. The feet, they're socks in sandals. Not too much else to say. She's lifting her heels, and we can see on one of them there is a bit of separation between the foot and the sandal itself because, it's not too tightly strapped back there, so it's going to fall off a little bit. And, not too much detail down here. looks pretty good. Then we get into the stand, where I am a bit mixed on it because it is a New Year's version, and oh, there's sakura blossoms, it's flowery, it looks nice, and it does convey, like, it's great that there's a pattern on it, but it doesn't convey her personality in any way. Like, it's generic. You can stick any figure on here, you could stick any character on here, and it would work because it's generic. And on one hand, again, we do have a pattern, which is nice. On the other hand, it's generic. It doesn't convey Lina's fiery personality. It doesn't really do anything for me aside from be better than plain clear plastic. So that's about it for that. Overall, we asked this for the last figure, is it worth the price? And considering it is Lina Inverse's only scale figure that I know of at the very least, I think it probably is. It was $190, which is slightly above what scale figures usually go for. And considering this is like the first piece of real merchandise in a long time for Slayers since the Nendoroids, and before the Nendoroids, I couldn't even tell you. But I think it's probably worth the price. I would have preferred if they made a Lina Inverse that was... Hello, Bear. That was, in her actual battle outfit or doing something cool. But this is nice too. Like, it works if there's a bigger variety. Like, I know there are garage kits that have her in her battle outfit in different poses doing different things, but I don't do garage kits because I don't trust myself with those paints. Now, if this was like one of 5 different Lina Inverse figures you can get, I would probably say, yeah, it's worth the price because it goes well with the other Linas. It's a different side of her. It's a different look at her personality instead of, being cool or funny all the time. It's her trying to be cute and showing off, and I like that. But because I don't have any other Linas, and because I don't think there are any other Linas other than the Nendoroid, it's not the best choice, is what I'm trying to get at. It's great, and I like it a lot. I would have preferred other things. I got what I got, and I'm happy with it. But I feel like in order to complete this, it needs its foil. Like, it needs her in her actual outfit, or it needs her doing something cool, or it needs her, being the badass that she is. Because yes, Lina Inverse is a cute girl, but she's more than, another cute anime girl. She's a lot more than that. Whereas, all of these other characters that I have, like, I have 2 different versions of Kaga and Akagi, and they're fucking video game characters. I have 5 different Konata Izumis, and they all convey a different part of her personality. Like, I have her cosplay one, her race one, her bride one, and her swimsuit one, and they all convey different parts of her personality. I have 3 different Yoshikos right here. Almost burning out in the parking lot. I have 3 different Yoshikos right here, and they all convey different parts of her personality. Even though all of them are pretty, like, brash in that she has her arms open or her arm pointing forward. The last one in the back is her, like, standing back and looking cool and not so excitable, but more, like, intense. And so it provides that foil of the many different sides of this character. Whereas with Lina Inverse, all we have right now is her looking cutesy, which I think does a disservice to the fact that she is more than another cutesy 90s anime girl. She is a lot more than that. And so in the future, I hope they make another Lina Inverse scale figure that shows her cool side, that shows her badass side. Like, I would buy a diorama of her using the Giga Slave on Shabernigdo, I would buy, like, how there's it's the Berserk diorama with Guts and Griffith. Yeah. The Berserk diorama with Guts and Griffith fighting Zod the Immortal. I would buy that of Gary and Lina fighting Shabernicto. I would buy that 100%. And then I would put Lina Inverse right next to it and be like, these are the many sides of Lina Inverse. Now, you can let me know in the comments below if something like a Lina scale figure already in her badass style exists somewhere out there, because if it does, the last like 5 minutes of this video can be completely discounted. And I just have to buy it now. But yeah, that is Lina Inverse Kimono version to celebrate 30 years of Slayers, which, wow, 1992. That's before I was born. Oh, wait, no. This was back in this was released in 2020 or 2021 or something. So yeah, way before I was born. So overall, my thoughts are very fantastic figure. I like it a lot. It looks beautiful. And I have the perfect spot for her. And it's going to get covered in dog hair because it's not on the very top shelf behind a glass case. And we have a husky running around in the house. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you really enjoyed it. If you liked this video, I have a lot more anime figure reviews that you can find here on my Twitch channel, here on my YouTube channel. If you want to watch some gameplay, I have my Twitch channel, and I also have my other YouTube channel. Twitch is going to be linked in the description below. YouTube, if you go to my channels section, it should show up that I have 3 different channels. We have Sumo, Long Plays, and this variety channel. So if you like this content, I have a lot more stretched out across a lot more channels that you can take a look at. And I don't know the exact date that I'm going to be uploading this, but I can tell you, we're probably not going to have an anime figure come in for quite a while, because we have a few Nendoroids, and I don't really want to do, like, if someone wants to see the Natsuhiro Matsuri Nendoroid, if you want me to review that, let me know in the comments below, and I totally will. Not going to be too much to say about it because it's a Nendoroid, but, you know, I have a very extensive anime figure collection. If you see something, you know, in my room that you want me to talk about, let me know. We will be having that apartment tour video at some point soon, because we just got to do some spring cleaning. And yeah, that is going to be it from me. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you cats later.